Hey everybody, I am going live. We're going to do a little more work on the wings logo that I tried to work on with y'all recently and forgot to turn the splash screen off. So if you're watching this on YouTube, there was a video. It was pretty much nothing, just me talking intermittently about things I was thinking you were watching. So I left it on Twitch, and it will delete itself automatically in a little bit, but I'm not going to put it on YouTube. But this one I will put on YouTube. So we'll make sure we get the splash screen turned off as soon as we're ready. I'm just going to give the stream a moment here, see if anybody wants to join. I've just posted it on Facebook, so we'll give folks a moment to hop in and say hello if they're here. And I am using this moment to clear out a bunch of emails that I need to clear out here. I sign up for way too many giveaways, and that gives me a lot of emails. Okay, let's get rid of that. And I heard a noise. What was that noise? Did we get a message? No, we did not. I don't know what that noise was. Maybe it was someone logging on to Steam or something. Okay, anyway. Well, it's actually not uncommon for people not to join the live stream, but folks usually like to watch the replay on YouTube. So we'll go ahead and get into it here. Just a couple of quick points here as we start out. Again, my name's Mike. If you haven't watched me before, a lot of folks call me Uncle Mike. I go by Uncle Mike in my email and in a lot of places, and on Xbox Live and stuff like that. I am an uncle now 6 times. Pretty excited about that. Almost 7, I think. So we haven't been blessed with children ourselves, my wife and I, but we're making the most of being aunts and uncles and as best we can. So it's actually a large part of why I do these art streams and record them on YouTube. There's a lot of other things that I could record, especially video games really popular. Maybe that would be a good source of income, and I may get into that at some point, maybe more specifically on Twitch. But I really wanted all the content, at least art-wise content, to be acceptable for my nephews and nieces. So I keep things pretty, PG at best at most times, I think, hopefully. So just trying to keep things family friendly. So what are we working on today? Today we are working on some wings, and this is a great time to remember to switch over to my tablet. Here we go. You can actually see what I'm working on. So a local neighbor of mine contacted me about doing a logo for her trucking business. They do trucking for crude oil, I think, or something like that. And I think they're rebranding, but the name of the company is Flying Double Eagle Trucking. And they wanted an eagle theme. They wanted a little bit of a Jesus theme, and we kind of played around with some different ideas, and ultimately we've landed on really simple, or elegant might be a better term for it, because it's not, it's simple, but it's everything it needs to be and nothing it doesn't. It's kind of the definition of elegant to me. So it's going to feature these wings here, and the text will circle around them. There'll be a cross in between them, but I need to get a little more detail on the wings, and I thought that I would just do that in Adobe Illustrator, but as I've kind of been dealing with the end of my infusion cycle and my new infusion, which I got just last Friday. Um, I haven't felt like I had the energy or the dexterity in my hands to really go through and do all the work by hand in Illustrator of cutting in the details that I wanted to cut in. So what I'm going to do is actually blow up one of these wings. I drew both wings, and that wasn't really necessary because they're mirrored anyway. We're just going to mirror them in Illustrator. So I'm going to cut one off, blow the other one up, and get to work on basically redrawing it and adding a lot more detail in feather-wise of things that I think will stand out and add detail, but I don't want it to be too detailed that it doesn't look good when it's shrunk down really small. But I just want it to be more than sort of cartoon wings, which is sort of what we have right now. So I am, forgive me here, I'm drinking a little Powerade Zero. And let's get to work. So I've got my screen up here. If anyone does hop in the stream, definitely let me know you're here and send me a little message there down in the chat box. So again, you can watch these streams at twitch.tv/UnkleMike5012, or you can use the Twitch app and subscribe to me there and watch me on your phone or tablet. I think there's an app for computer as well. But let's get going here. So what we're going to do first of all is get rid of some extra layers that we don't need. All this stuff that I've basically turned off, getting rid of. And what was going on here was I drew the wings and did them in like a really light color on a dark background that I threw together. The idea was I wanted to cut away all the dark outline and then cut away the white as well, so I was left with just the negative space inside the wing. That will be my sort of stamp or decal shape, and should be one continuous shape for the most part. So being a large continuous shape when you're laying out a vinyl layer on a vehicle is much easier than a lot of small details, because things can get shifted around and moved as you're applying the vinyl. So just want to make that as easy as possible. It also makes it very easy visually to recognize what's going on when it's a more basic, simple shape. So let's get started by merge that layer. I'm going to go in with my selector tool and cut this sucker pretty much in half. Go. Grab my selector tool over here, and I want to use this one actually. Move it. I'm going to scale it way up. The reason we're scaling way up is so that we can get the maximum resolution possible. That's just going to make it easier when I pull it into Illustrator for Illustrator to grab those details without me having to go in and refine them as much. Illustrator really likes to try to round off all of the corners and edges when you use the trace function to vectorize a shape that you've drawn. So that's what we're trying to avoid, is too much of that. And the more or the larger the image, the higher the resolution, the better it's going to cut it. So since I'm just working with the wings at this point, I'm not doing layout anymore. I'm just basically recreating this. That's what I'm going to do, is just blow this thing up enormous. I'm going to make it really low visibility here. Create a new layer. And then I'm going to start basically drawing it again. And I think what I will do, rather than draw it inverted like I had before, I'm going to go ahead and draw it dark, so it's just simple line art, and then I can invert it in Illustrator really easy. So I think it was just easier for me to process that before and explain it by doing it the way I did with the dark background, but it was really just extra work. We don't need that. We need to get this done because I'm on limited capacity or ability to work on this. So let's take a look actually really quick here at our canvas size. We are at 3,000 by 3,000 pixels overall canvas, which is pretty large. Pretty large image for a raster image. I think that's, well, it should be fine, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually blow this up a little more. I'm going to go all the way to 5,000 by 5,000, which is absurd, but it's just going to help me get as much detail as I can out of the drawing without having to clean it up later. So I'm going to go ahead and select my artwork again, go down to the artwork layer, blow this up even further. Now it might slow things down a little bit in the application, having such a high resolution. Hopefully it's not too hard to work with. I'm not going to have a whole lot of layers here, so and it's going to make my my brushes seem absolutely tiny, so I need to remember when I'm using my brushes to blow them up a little bit. And last time I used this ink pen, and a lot of my interface here is shifted around. I think at some point I opened this program with this monitor turned off, and it kind of made things move around. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm gonna go to dark, and I'm gonna just start drawing here. Yeah, it's a little bit too small, so let's pull up our brush tools, and let's see, how do we edit these? Here we go. Size with heavy pressure. Let's blow that up a little bit. Size with light pressure, I'm going to blow that up a little bit as well. Opacity, we're going to actually keep the opacity 100%. Sorry, my dog's going nuts all of a sudden. I heard something outside. Oh, yeah, definitely want that. Okay, Max, hey, it's okay. It's okay, there's someone across the street, bud. I've got my window open because I'm a little warm. I just got out of the shower actually, a little late in the day, and he's hearing noises. Okay, let's try this again so we can get a lot of detail with our pressure there. And as you can probably see, that line edge is not very smooth. So that's awful. Let's fix that. I've got, give me a moment here. I've got my, I wish I was wearing a shirt with a pocket on it right now. I really need a wireless headset or something for this, or a boom microphone, so I'm not wearing a headset. This thing's stuck on my shirts, but it's not. Ah, it's gone. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Hopefully that doesn't drive me nuts. Stick it on the collar of my t-shirt. It's kind of absurd. Okay, so I like the pressure and size of the brush. That worked out really good. I'm still going to undo it. I'm going to turn on the smooth draw tool, which is at 20 pixels. I think that's based on pixels. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know what that space is. Boy, that's still getting really, is that really edgy, or is that just the zoom? Oh yeah, it's much better once we zoom in. Okay, so let's not worry so much about that. But I do want to redraw it. Okay, let's come back from the tip. Oh, nice smooth line. I really love that tool. I don't know why I can draw such a much smoother line that way, but can, and I love it. Just really carefully. Drawing these shapes in. And what I wanted to kind of do was pull in a little line there, got a little free radical there. Okay, let's zoom in on that. We're just going to kind of do a test here. So, oops. Let's see. What I ought to try is use this other pen. Yeah. I used to do all of my ink work with a pen like this. I like it because it is a static width. So unfortunately that means I never really practiced and learned how to draw well with pressure. It's probably why I'm having difficulty with some of these lines here. But it is a very good tool for if you have a couple of them at different widths to get those different dimensions kind of. And I can create the extra thickness by just coming back on it like that. So I'm drawing a line down in, slight curve, coming back, and just drawing it kind of right next to the first line by the time I get to the end there, and that's giving me that shape. Let's see, my phone's going off. Let me just make sure. No, I know it's just the Marco Polo app. I've been running the Twitch app there. Let's run the Twitch app and see. Yeah, it does show my stream chat. Just do this test here. Please keep the chat clean and feel free to comment or just say hello. Hey, that's my message. I feel silly that I read that. Okay, so I just sent a message to the chat. If anyone's watching live, we have one viewer, and I'm fairly certain that's me on my laptop because I always have the stream up to make sure it's still working. I got to get some more viewers because this talking to myself on Twitch is a little silly. Oh boy, I got the dogs. Maximus, it's okay. Duke's mad at Max for trampling him as he's running to the door. Some neighbor dogs barking outside. We've got another dog named Max right next door, and he loves to bark with, I think, another dog right across from him on the other side. Okay, let's zoom that out. How's that look? It's a little pixelated, but kind of liking that look in general. Oops, I didn't get that all in one swoop. Can I continue it? Doesn't really look right. Set the pressure. There we go. I think that worked out all right. Let's zoom in. Yeah. That one didn't go well. I've got things zoomed in so far that gone beyond my ability to turn my wrist. Which is why you should really paint with your elbow for these long, smooth lines. If you're getting into painting or drawing, you want to be able to draw long, smooth lines. It seems unintuitive to give up your fine motor controls with your fingers and switch to painting with your wrist or your elbow, but keeping that all moving really gives you the most fluid motion. But I definitely struggle with that. So there we go. Now see, I just drew two lines. If you were watching that, the first one I got rid of. I didn't like it. It got a little messy. The curve went wrong toward the end because I had to rotate my wrist. My hand was sticking to my screen here. So the difference was the second time I was able to keep pressure up off of my hand a little more and get a much smoother line drawn with my elbow more than my wrist. Okay, kind of went a little too fast there. And just to share with you all again, anyone who's kind of new to watching, I am drawing this on a Wacom, it's W-A-C-O-M, Cintiq screen tablet. So if you want to be able to do this stuff at home digitally, they've got a lot of great options. I think probably the best, certainly sort of the industry standard for pen tablets. Not quite close that line. Their software is really good. And their pressure sensitivity is also really good. The one I'm using is older. It doesn't have a touchscreen functionality. That would be kind of nice, but I'd also need a special glove to keep myself from drawing on the screen when I don't want to. But these days now they even make tablet computers which are now using Wacom technology screens. I was just seeing the HP Z tablet. Boy, I would love to have one of those. Be able to kind of do this stuff. Oops. More from my living room or anywhere I'm at. I don't like the way that comes in. I'll just fix that in Illustrator. Okay, let's a few more of these details. I'm actually looking at a painting by R.S. Parker of an eagle that I have up on my wall. I was originally using photo reference, but the painting reference is also really good because I can see where he did strokes and cut the feathers and things. Really, if you look up R.S. Parker eagle, bald eagle. I'm sure you'll find it. It's an eagle flying in front of a couple of fir trees or something. A pretty famous painting. I've seen it in a lot of different places. And there's a lot of prints, and I've seen prints with scriptures on them and stuff like that. For everything from magnets and stickers to posters and wallpapers and all kinds of stuff. Just kind of comparing his study of the eagle to mine to decide on if I'm happy with how I'm rendering this, going for a little bit more realistic look. Not quite realistic, but something a little bit more along the lines of like a Native American totem pole or something like that. A little stylized, but not nearly as cartoony as what I had. I don't know. Not super excited about how these feathers have turned out. The overall shape of the wing kind of like, but it's not as long as it should be. Boy. I don't know. It's probably okay. Let's start putting in some of these details and let's see what we think then. Somehow missed the point on that one. Yeah, same there. I need to recalibrate my screen. Okay. Zoom in here. Over. Start cutting in some of these just small breaks in the feathers. Watch that one. There's not nearly as many on the top edge of the wing. They spread more at the bottom. There's fibers in the wing and the feather. This is definitely a detail that I think draws better quickly. Some things are better not thought about too much, I think. Just go quickly with your first instinct, what feels natural. outside the line a little bit there. Rotate. I've got some large white gaps in there. Those are going to end up cut out when we finalize the artwork. Oops, that one's way too big. What did I do to there? I did the button twice. Okay. As I'm getting down into some of these lower feathers, I'm starting to kind of vary it out a little bit more side to side, because the central vein of the feather is a little bit more even. Getting to some smaller lines, and I have to really exaggerate my stroke to get it to come up because I'm using this smooth stroke tool. That's a little something to kind of get used to. I'll show. Try to tell how much of that shows. It doesn't actually seem like you can see my mouse once I've actually started the stroke. So I'm looking over at the stream replay there. Yeah, so what I'm actually drawing here, I'm going to turn this off and I'll show you on this last feather, is I am coming up like this and down like this on each of those strokes. Really overdrawing it, but this tool here, the steady stroke tool, basically it's got a little red dotted line that follows behind my cursor, and then at 20 points, I don't know what that, it's not pixels as far as I can tell. It seems to change based on zoom, but at 20 points on the screen it starts the line. So unfortunately it's not a detail it looks like you can actually see on the screen. It looks like my mouse cursor stops as soon as I start to draw. Okay. So it's a little more thickness. Don't like that. I kind of want to get a little bit more varied thickness to that stroke of the main vein. Let's see if I can kind of add that in ever so carefully. Drawing these points here a little better. Okay, if you're using Sketchbook, shortcuts I'm using here, for the most part you can see what I'm actually clicking on, but I am using the space bar to pull up that quick pan tool. So I can pan and zoom by holding space and using whichever, or rotate, all those. The rotate, though, I'm typically doing, in zoom, I typically do with the on tablet control, just off screen. Okay, I don't think I actually want all these other details. That I had drawn in before. Because I kind of want this wing to look like it's in shadow, being a big block. I just want sort of the edges as if the light was behind the wing, and we just have the edges showing through. So all of the interior will be dark. Probably don't need a lot of those other details. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do is switch over to Illustrator here, so give me just a moment. Just going to save out this file and switch screens. Just remove the background. Save it as a JPEG is fine. Best possible quality. Go. Exit that screen and flip that up out of the way. And let's get Illustrator loaded here. Probably ought to switch chairs. I cannot work from this chair on that screen. Okay. I've got other client work and unfinished stuff, file directories and all kinds of stuff you don't really need to see, so I've got the splash screen up. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see if this transitions. All right, oh, I want to turn off the other screen. I don't think that interfered with our stream here. Switch to the laptop. Oh yeah, there's our Infinity. Okay, so here we are in Adobe Illustrator. And this is the logo where we were. So initially, the client requested a pump jack. They sent some images. I traced out a vector version, basically, of a pump jack here. They wanted a cross, or maybe a couple crosses, and then flying double eagle trucking, kind of in a circle with the wings beside it. And so this is what we came up with. From there, really, it was a pretty basic sketch. On the right here is kind of more what they were, I think, originally thinking, or maybe they transitioned to thinking. So this will be the final design over here on the second artboard, and these wings are what we are going to replace. I also need to replace that cross, or detail out that cross a little bit, and make some adjustments to the pump jacks. Let's actually do that right now. I'm going to delete one. Let's take the other one, shrink it down. We just want to resize that a little bit. Pull it out a little bit. And then what I'm kind of unsure about, I had initially planned for this to be over here in this circle, maybe with some sort of a mountain background or something where that would cut off this hard edge at the bottom. And now that we're just floating them out on the side, I don't know if I like that or not, but I'm going to duplicate that right on top of itself and transform, reflect. Go. Let's drag it over here in line with that one. I don't know as if that's in line. Let's ensure I've got that right where I want it. Let's grab both of these. Go. Oh yeah, see that circle, see how that cuts through? Yeah, this one is out too far. Let's bring it in just a little bit. Wish it was giving me a smart line based on this circle or something, so I can tell exactly how far apart they are. You know what I can do is group them, grab my cross, and just center it on the cross. There we go, centered. So Control G, Control Shift G to ungroup, and actually might as well keep them grouped. Easier to work with. Okay, and let's place our wing. So here's my working folder for flying double eagle trucking, and there's the image we just drew. Bring it in at the largest resolution, so I'm just clicking, I'm not dragging it out. There it is. Let's pull it off the artboard just so that we know we're not interfering with any of our artwork when we trace it. So that is enormous. This artboard is 10 inches by 10 inches. This is larger than that when it came through, which is excellent. And let's just zoom in here where we can really kind of see some of these details and see how well it preserves them as we trace it. And let's do it as black and white logo usually turns out pretty well. Oh no, that's horrible. Look how it cut that up. Lost all those details. Absolutely terrible. So let's change that to 3 colors. Kind of want this to be as low detail a trace as possible, just to reduce the amount of excess pieces. Yeah, see this? I don't want to get these light color lines in there. So let's just do high fidelity photo, see where it comes out. That's usually the best detail. Oh, I got someone at the door. No, boys. Nope. Probably a delivery. Okay, let's undo that. Okay, what's going on here? We've got... Somehow I've launched this twice. I was trying to switch screens for you while I was stepping away, but I guess you've just been staring at that. Okay, sorry about that. I had someone leaving a political door hanger on my door wanting to tell me how to vote. I don't need anyone to tell me how to vote. Do not come to my door trying to tell me what to think or do. I'm not into that. Okay, so we're still just trying to figure out what trace mode is going to give us the best image to work with. Boy, I'm frustrated that this is not coming out how I'd hoped it would. I feel like those are pretty hard lines. It shouldn't be creating these light lines in there. But I don't know, maybe they're not horrible. Let's see if we can work with this. So I'm going to expand it, which basically breaks it all up into individual pieces. But it's still grouped together, so I'm going to Control-Shift-G to ungroup it. That way I can grab this white background. It's gone. I can grab this path. Gone. Gone. Actually, what I want to do is grab this white section, and I'm going to go Control-2 to lock it. I'm going to grab everything else that's left, delete it. What did we end up with? Nowhere close to the detail I wanted. It worked out actually not terrible up here. That's more like what I wanted to end up with, but not good down here. So I think what we'll need to do is manually cut a lot of this stuff out, which is going to be a pain in the butt. Let's put it all back. Okay, that's unlocked. This is not going to be fun. Very meticulous. Okay, so what we'll do, back up. Let's come over here to our layers. I'll lock, well, actually I can't lock that layer just yet. Create a new layer. Grab this. I cut it with Control X. I'll lock that layer. I'm going to come up to layer 7, paste it in. Go over here, zoom in, and let's just start turning off everything on that artboard. And I'm going to turn off this other artboard as well. I'm going with that. Okay, and now it doesn't matter what size things are since we're working with the vectors. Let's shrink that down onto the page. Grab that inside color, make it actual black. And now I'm just going to start cutting pieces out of it. So I just took that that path here. Wait, what is this? Oh, Control C. Come here. Come on. That piece. There we go. That blue, dark blue outline. I'm going to hit Control Shift right bracket to bring that to the top. And it looks like that's just a shape behind everything. So we'll delete that. Take that dark shape, grab our black shape, and cut it out. Whoops, wrong icon. Go. And let's just zoom in. I think I'm just going to kind of get started with this, show you how I'm doing it, and then we'll whoops, did that wrong. Okay, grab our black, grab this little gray one, cut, nope, come on, why are you doing it that way? That gray one should be on top. That's cutting it wrong. Oh, that's frustrating. Why does it do that? Let's push that to the back. Grab this gray one, grab that, cut it. Nope, still cutting it the wrong direction. Why? Don't do that. Oh, man. Boy, it doesn't like it. Oh, hit the wrong one. Oh, deselected it. Let's do this. Maybe what will work better. Grab the whole thing and just do that. Okay, so we've got everything cut up and overlapping itself. But now, whoops, what just happened? Oh, I really zoomed in there somewhere. I'll zoom in. Actually, let's switch to the direct select tool. That'll make it easier. There we go. So what I'm going to do is just start deleting some of these unnecessary overlaps with the direct select tool. Oh, this is awful. This is awful. This trace did not work at all. I'm not going to be able to sit here and do all this work. It's more work than it's going to be worth. that. Just delete everything. I don't even know why didn't that get combined? Ugh. Okay. New plan. Make that 8% opacity. Shrink it down. Just keep it kind of centered. I'm going to have to trace this manually. This is going to be a real pain. So, boy, how long have we been going here? We are, let's see here, how far into the stream, man. No, it'll say down. Recording software, right? Yeah, we've been going for about an hour. That makes sense. I'm kind of feeling it. So I really need to be able to finish this artwork. I can't just wear myself out today because I'm going to have more work to do getting it all done. I'm going to need to pace myself. So I think I'm going to quit for the moment. Boy, I'm so frustrated that the trace came out so poorly. I just wasted 40 minutes or so redrawing that. Not entirely. It'll be a good reference point to work off of, but I was really hoping that would trace much better than it did. I'm kind of surprised, incredibly surprised actually, that it traced so poorly. So okay. Maybe I can pull it into Photoshop and kind of clean it up there. Let's see if I can just do that part really quick with you. Scratch discs are full. Scratch discs run off C drive. It needs to be full. Okay. I'm not going to be able to run everything all at once. I got too much stuff running. So, yeah, I'm going to call it a day. Appreciate you watching. I apologize for the outburst there from my dogs and whatever jerk was coming around trying to tell me what I should think and vote. Boy, that drives me nuts. I did agree with the flyer they left on the door, but I just hate how wound up the dogs get, especially while I'm trying to work on something like this, doing a stream with you all. So I apologize for that. And that the end goal didn't really work out like we wanted, so we'll have to figure that out. Hopefully I can come back to this tomorrow, because I'm really not sure exactly what the deadline was for this project. Kind of got a mixed answer about that when I asked, but I really need to get it done. So hopefully I can come back tomorrow and get this finished out. Yeah, so I think that covers it. Again, you can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/5012design, just as it's spelled there up top with the numeral 12. 5012design.com is my grossly out-of-date website that will give you links to the Facebook page. And I'm UnkleMike5012 on Twitch and on Instagram if you want to follow me there. Welcome to do that. And Facebook, though, is really the best place to keep up with what's going on with the channel and stuff like that. So I've got this project here I really need to get finished. I still actually have a couple other projects that I just remembered about the other day, and a lot of stuff has been going on lately personally with my disability and getting that appeal process taken care of. And of course, my infusion cycle has been winding down, and my energy and ability to focus have been very depleted over the past few weeks, and more than I think I really realized. So still kind of recovering from that. New infusion cycle, trying to get going, get as much done as I can before I wear out again. And there's definitely a lot of things I want to do, so hopefully we'll see a big burst of content through the page here as I'm able, if I'm able. So yeah, that's it. Another little update. I don't have a 3-year-old running around in the background. My brother-in-law has found a house and bought it and moved in, so kind of got the house just to me and the dogs and my wife. But during the streams, usually my wife's at work, so me and the dogs. And that definitely, although I loved having them here, did create some stress sometimes, so a little bit of a de-stressor for us. Hopefully that's going to lead to, as well with the new infusion cycle, more content. I really feel bad. I feel like I've really slacked off in the content area lately, so I want to get you guys a lot more of that. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with me at the moment, and I definitely have some plans of things I want to do for the channel. Not just artwork, but I want to do some other projects. We haven't been out in the shop in quite a while, and I've definitely got projects I want to do now that it's much cooler. The shop's not 100 degrees. I really want to do some stuff out there, so I got to figure out how I'm going to pace myself and balance all that out. I do enjoy the artwork, and the artwork gets me paid. This logo job is a paid job. It's not much, but it's something, and that's a huge factor for me right now in what I prioritize. So not getting to do as much of what I want to do lately, doing a lot more of what I need to do. If the disability appeal that we had goes well and the judge rules in my favor, then that'll make a big difference. I'll have some income and things won't be quite as tight, and maybe we'll be able to do some other projects and things. But hopefully you're enjoying this, and we can get around to doing some more fun stuff as the holiday season kind of works its way around here. So yeah, it's about 5 o'clock here. I gotta feed the dogs and take care of some things around the house, so I'm gonna get going. And again, just thank you so much for your support, for watching. Definitely, if you want to contribute to the channel in some way, you can reach out to me through Facebook. I am on Patreon, so you can sign up to support me financially on Patreon. That's a monthly subscription where basically you donate $1 a month or so. There's different tiers and different rewards that come with those tiers if you want to donate more than that and get a project done for you. That's certainly a way that you can do that, and then continue to fund the channel, fund me in the process. So that's an option. We did have a fundraiser going to take care of some medical bills, and we have shut that down. We did get a lot of support there, which I was very, very thankful for. Not quite as much as we needed, really, but we were able to get pretty close. So I really, really appreciate everyone who contributed and shared that and helped us out there. And Again, a lot hinges on this disability appeal that we just took care of this past week. So it's been 2 years of waiting to get the appeal and see the judge about that, and collecting new evidence and x-rays and all that stuff. And that's all been a pretty heavy weight. Now we're in this phase where we are just waiting for probably a few months, 2 or 3 months maybe, to get a finding or a judgment from the judge and decide whether I am disabled like my doctors say, or not like the state wants to say, because they don't want to pay me benefits. So something you can be praying for. At this point, it's kind of strange. It's kind of a weight off of our shoulders. Kind of everything's done. There's nothing more for us to do but wait. But waiting is also difficult and stressful. So yeah. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm kind of rambling. I apologize if you've listened through all of this. God bless you. Okay, well, you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.